So I'm going to show you how to disassemble a riveting gun. This one's a Stanley MR99. The reason I want to disassemble this is because I had a rivet pin stuck inside and I couldn't find a way to get it out. So this is a quick guide to taking it apart, and more importantly putting it back together. I hope it can help. I know I found someone online who was looking for a manual on how to put it back together. So this didn't even come in instruction manuals. I'll throw in at the end, maybe, if how to use a riveting gun, if you didn't know that already. There's plenty of instructions out there, but for convenience I'll throw it in with this video. But first we'll start with taking it apart, changing the heads and all the things you can do with this. So this is a riveting gun, this is a rivet. The head you should choose for the size of the rivet. So for this size I would probably choose this one, and to change that there's a little wrench with it. You can unscrew just to loosen it up. And these are your different heads. So I would take that apart, put that on there, tighten it up, and that would be good to go if I wanted to use that one, and I won't do that just yet. Now to take it apart, there's this head on it. I'm going to use a 19mm wrench just to loosen that one up. Screw that off, and you have the main riveting thing. There's a little cap here. Take that off, you don't need to, but I'm going to do it just for fun. That's the inside of it. The camera and lighting is very bad. I am outside, but sorry about that. Now there's a little pin here, so I'm just going to pull that off with a screwdriver. Doesn't take much force. And then I can push this pin through, take that out. That releases these two levers. Don't need that one, stuck on that one. Now the pin was stuck in there, so and this is the main riveting thing. If you push back, it separates those two heads for the rivet pin to go in, and yeah, there is a spring in there. I found that out the hard way, with the spring and the little plastic bit shooting halfway across my garden. Not easy to find. So to take this apart, I highly recommend putting your finger on top to stop that spring shooting out, and then just need to push this black pin through, pull it out. Now be careful, as soon as this comes out that spring will shoot onto your finger. So I'm going to pull this pin out. As soon as I do, that spring will shoot onto my finger. It is a little bit difficult, but it eventually comes out, and that shot onto my finger. Managed to catch it. Now, right on the top is a little plastic thing. This one is one that covers screws for a drawer. The other one, as I said, shot across the garden and I can't find it, but it's essentially to push the spring down. Then you have the spring. Then inside you have a little metal bit which has a separator on it. Well, not really, it's kind of at an angle so that these two bits can be pushed apart. And then you have the two grabby, clampy things which grab your rivet pin, like so. So, yep, in here was that rivet pin that was stuck, so I managed to take that out. Now to put it back together, you've got your whole side up, and obviously you can't put anything on this end because it's narrower, so I'm going to put narrow side down of these clamps. Just fit them in and they should, if you can see, fit together like that. And then this thingy goes in between the two notches you can see in there if I turn the lamp. Now if you just twist these around a bit from the bottom, you might be able to find, they're going to catch themselves anyway. Next goes the spring. Next goes that little cap. Now you should be able to just push that down. Now if you put your finger there and push back, these pins should separate. Like so. That means it is working. So now I'm going to put this back. It goes in that one, further back, furthest. Does it? Yes it does. It goes in that middle one. That one we'll just leave it at an angle, like so. This one will also leave it at a downwards angle. This one will give it a nice pull back. Although I think you can probably change all of them, but I'm not going to try that just yet. I'll leave you to experiment. So I'm going to line that up there. Put that pin through, a little bit through the next hole. Don't force that in just yet. And then I'm going to push down on this and push that pin through so it blocks the spring shooting back up. And then push that down again so it lines up with the next hole. Now it's gone all the way through this little black ring. Now you can line it up with the other end of this silver and push that through. So now it's nice and flush and working. So next, put that through there, like so. Line up one of these holes, A or B. I was looking for manuals on what A and B actually do. I couldn't actually find out. I think it depends where you put this one. So, but this was set on B. So, I'm going to put this pin through. Oops. Put this pin through B. Push it through the other end. Get this spring clip. There's a little hole in the side of this pin. Just feed the straight leg through there and give it a good push. I'm going to use a screwdriver again. In fact, I'm going to turn this and give it a good push. Clip that in. And that is good to go. Then you have your head or whatever it's called. Screw that back on, nice and tight. I'm not sure what the cap's for, but I'm just going to put that back on. And you are good to go. If you put it back beyond about this much, you can feel the spring starting to engage, and that's how you put it back together. Now, how a rivet works: you have your rivets. Diameter and length is this bit, so this is the bit you're actually looking for. This bit just holds into the gun, and what you do is put the rivet in the gun, open it up so that those clamps separate and the rivet falls through. If you have a little bit of force, you can see it doesn't go flat back anymore, because that's when it will start pulling back and pulling this mushroom head of the rivet back which will cause this to bend and expand, and that will cause any surface put between here to mate together. Now I'm going to show you on this pair of pliers, because then I can take it off. I don't need to rivet anything. So you have your two surfaces, for example, then you have a hole, you put the fat head of the rivet through that hole, and you have your little, think of it as a washer, but head or stopper. Now put your riveting gun through, and give it a good squeeze, and you will see, if I turn the light on, you will see that mushroom head. Focus. 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 Steady camera. Yep. And you will see this head will push through, squeeze, and eventually it will pop. Now this one I have to keep. This one has only gone far this much when it was fully squeezed, so I'm going to loosen again. At this point you would probably have to push the rivet gun over the rivet pin some more. That's not a problem. Squeeze some more. Does take a bit of elbow grease. And at a given torque it will pop. Now that pin has come off, it is in there. You can see that has now deformed enough to hold this together. Now obviously it's a pair of pliers, so I'll just let go and it will fall through. But essentially that's what it does. Your two mated surfaces are here in this narrow bit. That bit and that bit will be enough to clamp it together. Open up the rivet. There's your pin that snapped off. Should just fall right out. And there's your pin. That's how you use a rivet gun. Enjoy! Oh, wear safety goggles.